Welcome to episode 694 of the Entertainment 2.0 podcast, brought to you by thedigitalmediazone.com. I'm Josh Pollard.
And I'm Richard Gunther. And this is the show that puts you in control of your favorite movies, music, shows, and games. And we are back 2 weeks in a row. It's been, I can't even remember how long since we've done this, but this is good.
And just like I said last week, we do this show every week on Tuesdays, and we always do it live. And both of those are absolutely true this week, right?
Not at all. Not at all. But the Tuesday is my fault because I said, Josh, I'd really like to watch the election results for my state come in on Tuesday night. So could we reschedule?
Yeah. So he never gets to give me any crap about me wanting to watch a sporting event.
Never, ever again because of this one time.
It's every single year. We vote every year, Richard. At least every single year.
Like I'm the only one that enjoys watching the election results come in.
I do love watching them for the bigger elections, but this is, I mean, except for in a few places, this wasn't that big of an election.
It was for me in Virginia, and I had the 3-up going. It was awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've got a fun show for everybody. I don't know. Will it be fun? We'll see. But plenty of news for you. YouTube TV and Disney have been fighting in a major way. Richard will give us a firsthand experience with that. Google is breaking up with Movies Anywhere. That was a surprise out of nowhere. Our favorite new Bluetooth feature is coming to Windows. Doesn't seem like we talk about Windows all that often around here, but it's still relevant. The PlayStation Portal is now a lot more useful, and we've got a couple of early Black Friday deals to share on devices we love. So, but like we prefer to do, we're going to kick this show off with some listener feedback. And this was sent in to us from David in our email box, entertainment20 at thedigitalmediazone.com.
This first message is going to be a little bit familiar because this is from David, who we just heard from last week. David says, hello. This message is not intended to make Josh angry or incite him to break things. Ooh, that's a lead in, right? Is there any reason at this point to buy an Xbox over the PS5? Oh, he says the hardware is the same in a practical sense, and many consider the controller, I assume he means of the PS5, to be superior. The biggest reason, though, is that former Xbox exclusives like Halo and Gears are coming to PS5. Oh, maybe he meant the Xbox.
No, he does. He does mean PS5. Yeah.
He meant the PS5 controller was superior?
I guess.
Which I find shocking, but whatever. So Sony, however, has been reluctant to return the favor. Some Sony exclusives have made it to the PC, but later this year, I don't expect Wolverine, for example, to be hitting the Xbox, and certainly not at launch. To be fair, what limited information we have gleaned about the upcoming Xbox seems to point to the device being a real game changer. No pun intended. Yeah, right. All right, Josh, are you angry or do you want to break things?
I'm angry if he is trying to say that the PlayStation controller is better than the Xbox controller, because that is.
I find that really hard to believe.
Objectively false. Okay, so the question itself, I don't mean to be the guy who's like, well, I don't entirely agree with the premise. It's not that sort of situation. The question, I think, is a little bit weird because I think in the year 2025, if you're going to buy an Xbox or a PlayStation 5, you probably did it already, right? Like these machines have been out for 5 years now. And so I think the better question is like, when we get to the next generation, what device is going to make the most sense to buy? But I'm willing to entertain that, okay, it's 2025, I'm just now getting into video games, or maybe my kid is, so what should I get them? That, I think, is a harder decision to make. But in either option, I think I might recommend the PlayStation at this point. Which
and that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but it doesn't
surprise me.
But So let's talk about the pros, the pros and the cons here. Why might you want to buy the Xbox instead? Well, like I said, it's got a way better controller. It is so much more comfortable than the PlayStation controllers. I will not apologize for that ever.
I mean, maybe unless you have much bigger hands. Like I feel like the PlayStation controller needs larger hands to be comfortable.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe. Day one releases with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Yes, Game Pass Ultimate has gotten really expensive. It's $30 a month, but you do get day one releases of all of the major games, including Call of Duty when they come out. And that is a pretty big deal. If you also are a PC gamer, Xbox Play Anywhere is pretty friggin' awesome to be able to buy a game once and be able to play it on Xbox and PC, and not only just be able to play it. Xbox Play Anywhere also means that it'll do cloud saves and so that you can play on one device and pick up exactly where you left off on the other device. It works really well. It's really nice if you care about also being able to play on a PC. Maybe you don't, in which case that's not a reason for you. I think subjectively that the software on the Xbox is just a better user experience than what is on the PlayStation. I think that everything from party chat and friends list and how you manage your games, like I think all of it is just a better experience on the Xbox than the PlayStation. But again, that just comes down to user preferences. While, he points out that Gears is coming to PlayStation 5, Halo is coming to PlayStation 5, and a lot of other games have already come to PlayStation 5, they're not all there. Like, there are still lots of older Xbox exclusives that are still only on Xbox, and many of them probably always will be. Eventually, that becomes less of an issue, though. So the further we get into the future, the less that argument holds up. And then if cloud streaming matters to you, you get better support for cloud streaming across the Xbox ecosystem. So you can cloud stream using Game Pass, or you can cloud stream the Game Pass library or a subset of games that you already own through the Xbox Game Pass subscription. And you can do that from your Xbox, from your PC, from your phone, from an iPad, from a TV, like basically anything. And that is not the case on the PlayStation side. So those are the main reasons, I think, why you might still want to buy an Xbox. And like I said, a bunch of them may not even apply to you. Why should you consider getting a PlayStation instead? Well, they're pretty much going to have all of the games going forward. If Xbox really is just turning into a massive game publisher, and they're going to release everything day and date on PlayStation, well, then you really are going to have basically everything. If the next Xbox is essentially a PC like the ROG Xbox Ally, the player experience is probably going to be better on the PlayStation, because I don't like if the next console is a PC, it's still going to be a PC. And the reason that people like me enjoy an Xbox is I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to tweak anything. I press a button on my controller. It boots up. My games are ready. I don't have to worry about Windows updates. Most of the games update automatically on their own. I don't have to tweak things. It just works. And if I just want to play a friggin' game right now, most of the time I can. And that is far from true with a Windows PC. And I don't see that changing.
You're speculating on what the experience would be like on a future Xbox.
Yes,
and
yes,
I don't know that that's equating exactly to the way that you looked at the Xbox.
Right. But I do think that this decision is more important for where we're going. And even if you're buying now, the other thing to keep in mind, if you're buying in 2025, and even if the next generation isn't for 2 or 3 more years, in those 2 or 3 years from now, you're going to you likely will still want to play some of the games that you purchased in 2025. And so if you buy an Xbox now, and then the next console is a $1,500 PC, and you don't want to pay $1,500 for the next console, and you don't want somewhat of a PC experience out of it, well then, when you switch to PlayStation, you will also be giving up your game library. So
Good point.
That's why I throw that in there. We may be wrong. Maybe the next Xbox will just be a regular Xbox. And then lastly, there are rumors that PlayStation is looking at building something like Xbox Play Anywhere. They've been shipping a lot of their games on PC over the last few years through Steam, but the rumors, based on like some people digging into source code and stuff that they've found, it sure looks like PlayStation is looking to build their own Windows store for PlayStation games. And then they would allow you to buy the game one time and play it on both PC and PlayStation. And so that advantage gets nullified from the Xbox Play Anywhere perspective. Do I think that it'll be as smooth and seamless as Xbox? Probably not, because I just don't think that PlayStation does anything quite as well as Microsoft does in like the software side of things. But yeah, that's how it falls. And so I do think probably buy a PlayStation. And for like the Xbox hardcore fans like me who have been, and there are bigger ones than me for sure, but I've been an Xbox guy since the 360. And I don't know, man, there's a pretty decent possibility that at the next generation, I'm going to be buying a PlayStation.
And you said as much, I think, the last time that we talked about this. So that's not all that surprising. Nonetheless, David, good question. And we love these thought exercises. This is a good question for us. It lets us really dig in and help explain our perspectives on why we think something is better than another or going to happen or not going to happen. So
right.
Thanks for reaching out through our email address, which is, again, entertainment20@thedigitalmediazone.com. All right. Well, our first story in our video segment is regarding the loss of ABC channels on YouTube TV. And as you mentioned in the lead-in, Josh, I have firsthand experience with this because on Saturday, when I went to turn on the TV, I noticed there was no ABC. And I noticed that because my main networks are right at the top of my listing, and it wasn't there. And I had no idea what was going on. I missed the email message that might have come in from Google TV the night before, letting me know that they're doing the same thing that they were doing with NBC just a couple months ago, where actually I think it was a couple of weeks ago, where they're in negotiations and they haven't yet settled. And it's possible we may lose coverage. Well, with NBC, they came to an agreement, but with ABC, apparently they did not. So right now, it is November 5th as we record. And as of this moment, they still have not reached an agreement. I and others with YouTube TV still don't have any ABC channels. Now, what does that mean? ABC. Okay, well, how many ABC channels could there be? No, it's all the Disney Network channels. So it's ESPN, and ABC, and ABC News, and FX, and FXX, and National Geographic, and Nat Geo 2, and Disney, and all the forms of the Disney Channel, and Freeform, and all of that stuff. All of that is part of the ABC package. And so, of course, what ABC is trying to do is to guarantee access to all of their channels. And they feel they have lots of content that's worth something. So they're trying to get presumably more money for it. And YouTube is probably trying to do the same thing that they did with NBC, which is that if you're going to provide us with all this content, then we also want your fast channels, and we're going to include them in our fast offering. And that is my bet that they're trying to play with ABC, and ABC is playing hardball. We don't know that for sure, but that is what they did with NBC, and eventually they came to an agreement with them. So Right now, what Google TV has told its customers is that if this goes on for an extended period of time, which they do not define in terms of days, they will provide a $20 rebate because of the loss of some of the content that we're paying for. Because we're paying, like, if I remember correctly, $88 a month for this content. And ABC has a lot of the content on there. So they plan that they will reimburse people. I also saw something on Thorat's channel that there might be a way of getting like a $10 discount even sooner. I'm not quite sure what that was about, but in all likelihood, there will be some sort of compensation for this outage. Now, Josh, I don't care about the ESPNs, any of them, none of them.
What about the Ocho?
But if someone does, and they want to not miss their sports because we're in sports. We're always in sports season. Who am I kidding?
But it's football season now, so it's really
football
season.
Yeah, but it's really important because it's U.S. football. Ooh,
exactly.
So, what alternatives might they have if they're not going to get it from their ESPNs?
Yeah. So there are a bunch of alternatives, but most of them cost a lot of money. Like you could try some of the trials. Like if you haven't signed up for things like Hulu with live TV, which is what Disney would like you to do, by the way, because they own that service. You could do a trial of one of those, or Fubo, which Disney also owns, or Sling or DirecTV or any of those. And you could get a trial and that might get you a few days of access. But who knows how long this dispute is going to last. At this point, I don't know what's going to return first, Disney to YouTube TV or our US Congress. I'm not sure, but it could be a while. So if you're looking for access, especially for sports, which this hit really bad, right? Because this hit on a Friday. And then Saturday, lots of people are spending all day Saturday watching college football on ESPN and ABC, and lots of other channels too, but those are the big ones.
Not on YouTube
but
TV.
Not
they
on
weren't.
YouTube TV. And then Monday Night Football is also on ESPN and YouTube, or sorry, ESPN and ESPN and ABC. And so no one on YouTube TV was able to watch that either. So if this continues into the weekend and you are really looking forward to some sports this weekend, your best bet, I think, is a story that we talked about back in August, which is Sling TV has a new offering called the Sling Day Pass, and you can use this to sign up for their Sling Orange service, which is the version of Sling offerings that includes all of the ABC and Disney properties, and you can do that in whatever way works best for you. If you only care about college football on Saturday, well, you can sign up for a single day pass for $5. If you need the whole weekend, because you're also looking at NFL and everything else that happens the rest of the weekend, it's $10 for a weekend. And if you're like, well, what about Mondays and everything else? It's $15 for a week if you want to go that route also. Or, if you do just want to sign up for a full competing service, Sling still ends up being the cheapest. You could pay $46 for a month of that if you don't want to keep dealing with this every weekend.
And to be clear, if you just want Orange, right?
Right. So
that $46 is only getting you half of what they offer, but it's the half that includes the sports you probably care about.
Exactly. Yeah, Sling Orange doesn't include the Fox properties. But if you're doing this to supplement your existing YouTube TV, then just use YouTube TV for everything that Sling Orange doesn't have, and just use Sling Orange for the ABC and ESPN properties.
I didn't even know that the short-term passes were still available because I thought they got sued for that. I thought that there was a potential stay to keep them from offering those, but I'm happy to hear that they're still available.
They're still available on their website.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, perhaps not coincidentally.
Maybe.
I think it's not coincidental at all.
I agree.
Google has apparently abruptly ended its support for Movies Anywhere, which is the service that allows you to access any of the digital movies that you've purchased through most of the studios, not all of them, but most of them. Paramount, Lionsgate still holdouts for some reason, even though Amazon now owns Lionsgate. That's weird, right?
That is
You'd
weird.
think they would fix that problem. But in any event, Google no longer is providing access to these movies through their services. So that means not available through YouTube. And that's how you would have gotten to your movies anywhere stuff before in the Google environment. Now, why might this be? This also took effect on October 31st. Huh? Weird. At the same time that they had this breakup with Disney. And it turns out that the reason for this is not entirely known, but guess who owns Movies Anywhere? Anyone? Anyone want to guess? Anyone?
I'll give our listeners a hint. It used to be known as a different service. There was another word in front of Movies Anywhere previously.
There was. It was, did it start with a D?
It did start with a D and ended with an ISNY.
Right. So Disney Movies Anywhere became Movies Anywhere, but it's still owned by Disney. So this looks a whole lot like a negotiating tactic. So, it means that if you were to buy a movie now from some other service or buy a movie on YouTube, that it would no longer appear on all the services, and it would only appear in the service where you purchased it, or it wouldn't get to YouTube and it wouldn't get out of YouTube to other services. And that kind of sucks, because that's the beauty of buying digital movies now, is that they are in fact available anywhere.
Right.
So my bet, and I don't know if we're going to end up betting on the same side of the line. If we do, it's no fun. But my bet, Josh, is that this will resume once they have an agreement in place. What do you think?
Probably. Like, as lame as it is to agree with you here, I think it probably does. But I don't know. I could also see them being kind of lazy about this, because, like, who is expecting this, right? Like, how many people even really know about Movies Anywhere? Like, I mean, our listeners mostly know about it because we talk about it all the time. But I don't know. I wonder how popular the service is. And
that's a good point.
If YouTube might just be like, meh, we don't really want to do the work to make all of this work again. But if they were able to turn it off this easily, they can probably turn it back on just as
I'm sure
easily.
they could.
So
I'm sure
I think
they
it'll
could.
come back.
Yeah, I think it's going to come back. And I mean, just think about it, and please write to us. Let us know if you're thinking otherwise. But I have a hard time believing that YouTube is where people are going to buy their digital movies. I just have a really hard time believing that. So I feel like Google gets more out of this by providing access to content through their service than having content that people have purchased and having to make it available elsewhere. I think this is more beneficial to Google users than users of other ecosystems.
It probably is, but even trying to find your movies inside of YouTube is not the easiest experience ever.
Well, right. I agree. And in fact, frankly, it's a surprise to me. But it's a surprise to me the same way that if I want to go listen to audio music only, I'm going to go to YouTube, because that has never made sense to me. But whatever.
Right.
Everything is YouTube.
Yep. Yes, it is. Including the show. We put the show on YouTube, and people should go to our channel and like and subscribe.
And you should watch this episode on YouTube, because with the network problems we've had, I'm sure it's going to be lots of fun.
Yeah, which is the real reason that we're not doing the show live. It's not just because it's not Tuesday night. Also, I'm having internet issues, so should be fun.
Exactly.
Should be fun to edit.
This is the raw-ish version when you go to YouTube.
Yeah.
To see how we actually recorded this. All right, but we're not done talking about Google, Josh. Go.
We're not. We're gonna transition into some deals to share. So the first one is the Google TV Streamer 4K, the device that replaced the Chromecast that I think Richard still uses pretty heavily when he's traveling, or at least was for a while. It is on sale for actually the lowest price we've ever seen it. It is down to $75 on Amazon. Yeah, like you don't have to like go to the Google store or any of that stuff. Like go to Amazon and get it for $75. Although if you're going to do that, if you could click the link from our show notes, that would help us out. It's still only $75 for you, but we'll get a little bit of a cut. So
you should totally do that.
Yes, you should totally do that. So Google TV Streamer 4K, I mean, it is the optimal, it's the best experience that you're going to get from a Google TV operating system, especially if you don't want to go and spend the biggest money on the NVIDIA Shield TV Pro. So there's that deal. And then another really good deal is we transition into our audio news. Again, keeping it in the Google family here. My favorite earbuds, the Google Pixel Buds Pro 2, are on sale down to $169. And those are regularly $230, I think. I have a hard time remembering because I didn't pay full price for mine either. And neither should you. You should click this link and go spend $169 for them on Amazon because they're fantastic earbuds. And you deserve a treat before Black Friday. And you can get it
totally.
Now.
Yeah. These are what Edward has, actually. He likes them a lot. I bought him AirPods Pro for Christmas one year, and he made me return them.
Wow.
And then he ended up buying these about a year later. So
really? Yeah. Did he not like the stems of the AirPods?
I don't know what it was. I just, I do what I can. I tried.
Yep.
I thought it was a cool gift. I was apparently wrong.
Yeah. I've never heard of somebody using Pixel Buds with an iPhone, but...
Oh, yeah. It works fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they do. It's just unusual. Yeah.
And they look less ridiculous.
That is true. That is definitely true. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's move in back to the regular news stories here, because we do have a news story for our audio segment here, and that is our favorite feature, or at least the feature that we've been the most excited about. Maybe I shouldn't even say we. It's the feature that I've been the most excited about.
I know. When you said "our" at the head of the show, I'm like, "Our? Is
Richard,
it our?"
You love Auracast. Whether you like it or not, you love Auracast.
I must love it.
So we're going to call it Auracast because that's actually what it's called. Microsoft, not so much. But in the latest Windows Insider preview of Windows 11, which means most people don't actually have this yet, but it means it will be coming to a version of Windows 11 in the future, Microsoft has added a feature that they're calling shared audio. And if you've heard me ramble on and on about Auracast in the past, that's what this is. And what that means is if you are watching a movie on your laptop, like on an airplane, and you are traveling with a friend, and you have a laptop and 2 sets of earbuds that support Auracast, you can pair both sets of them to the Windows laptop and watch that video together, getting the audio through your own individual earbuds at the same time. That's what Auracast allows you to do. And I think this is exciting. It is very, very limited right now, though, because 1, you'd have to be in the Windows Insider Preview program, which most people aren't. 2, you'd have to have earbuds that support this, which unfortunately, that's still a fairly limited number of devices out there. And 2, this is the one that's going to catch up to most people, actually. There aren't very many Windows laptops that have the hardware to support this yet. Currently, it's like a few of the Surface laptops and a smattering of Windows laptops that are powered by Qualcomm processors. So there's not a ton of hardware support out there for this yet, but I think it's a good sign that I and by the transitive property, also Richard, are very excited about for all of you. Richard and all of his Windows PCs, as you know.
Yeah. I don't think that's how the transitive property works. But I do think this is a good idea, right? We need to get this on more devices and from more content providers too, right? Like you gave some examples, but I think when we've talked about this in the past, in theory, Auracast could work well with all kinds of stuff. It could work well potentially with your own earbuds in, say, museums. It could work if you're watching a presentation or a service or, not just sharing something in 3-foot proximity with someone.
Right. Exactly. So here's hoping that this continues to expand. I saw another use case that I hadn't thought of before. Those like gigantic, they call them party speakers, gigantic party Bluetooth speakers that some of these companies make that are like, 3-foot tall giant Bluetooth speakers.
Oh my God. And they all have lights in them.
And they all have annoying lights and all of that stuff. Some of them now are starting to include support for Auracast, and they're using it so that you can have a bunch of these all paired together so that you can, I don't know, annoy the entire neighborhood with whatever music you're blasting out of these things, I guess. And that's another really good use case.
Sure. Good. In quotes.
Well, the idea of connecting multiple Bluetooth speakers together is a good use case.
Yes.
Because that could be like a whole home Bluetooth based solution that the Bluetooth SIG promised us like a decade ago and never actually happened.
Right.
Now could actually happen.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, I remember being at a Bluetooth SIG event with you at CES like 10 years ago talking about this.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was forever ago. And now we're finally getting it just with a very different technology than what they were talking about back then.
Yep.
All right. Last story of the week. This is on the gaming front. I a little bit alluded to this earlier. So the PlayStation Portal, you might not remember what this device is. I don't think it's an incredibly popular device, but it is a handheld PlayStation, but it is strictly a streaming device. So it is a screen with, it's like they cut the DualSense controller in half and glued each side of it to the side of a screen, sort of like Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch and all of that. But instead of playing games locally, it only can stream games. When it first launched, which was 2 years ago, which blows my mind. I thought this thing was only about a year old. When it first launched, the only thing you could do with the PlayStation Portal was stream games from your PlayStation running on your home network with you. Now, since then, over the last 2 years, they've expanded the capabilities, including being able to stream your PlayStation remotely. And then last year, they added a beta that allowed you to stream some of the stream games from the PlayStation Plus library. Now, starting today, you can use the PlayStation Portal to not only stream games in the PlayStation Plus subscription library, but also lots of games that you own. Is it every single game that you've owned and purchased from the PlayStation Store? Maybe not, but it is a very large library of games. So you could theoretically not own a PlayStation at all, buy a PlayStation Portal, which is $200, subscribe to PlayStation Plus Premium, which is a mouthful, and then buy games from the PlayStation Store and stream them and never own a PlayStation. Now, it does require that you always be connected to the internet when you're playing this, but it's a nice use case for those who have a good, solid, reliable internet connection. But again, just like in that Xbox ecosystem, you do have to have the PlayStation Plus subscription, and it needs to be that top tier subscription, which is PlayStation Plus Premium. I hate the name of the PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, it's really awful.
It's so hard.
Really awful.
And that's $18 a month. So it's a lot less than Xbox Live Gold or Xbox Game Pass Gold. Oh my gosh. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is $30 a month. So
yeah, this makes this device, I think, a whole lot more interesting, right? It adds a lot more value to the device. But keep in mind, as you were just saying last week, some games just aren't going to be as good when you're running them off the cloud.
Exactly.
Streaming these games, particularly the games that are really intricate with lots and lots of movement, they're probably not going to be as good an experience if you're streaming them.
Right. The example that I always use is you're probably not going to want to play Call of Duty multiplayer over a streaming connection. So, yeah. But it's a nice offering for a lot of other games. So, with that, that's it for our news this week. So let's jump into what's been going on in our entertainment centers.
All right. So a bunch of the same stuff. I've been continuing to watch and keep up with The Amazing Race. The Morning Show has a new episode out this week. I haven't watched that yet, but otherwise I'm up to date. We've been watching episodes of The Voice. We just finished the blind auditions, and now we'll go into the next phase. I forget the name of that, but I'm looking forward to those. Continuing to watch the series H+. I think I'm 30 some episodes in of the 60 that I mentioned, each one of them being just about somewhere between 3 and 6 minutes long. Really intriguing story. I'm enjoying it, and kind of bummed to know that I'm halfway through, because I feel like they could have made a long series out of this potentially. Watched the latest episode of South Park, which was very entertaining. If you're of my particular political leanings, probably not so much if you're not, but I think you've probably figured that out by now if you're a South Park viewer. Watched the latest episodes of season 5 of Ghost, just started up again. This season, for some reason, is only 10 episodes long. Last season was 22. So I don't know why it's such a small buy. That seems really odd. It'll be interesting if maybe like in the past, when sometimes they would only buy a half season of 13 episodes and then double up later after they see how it goes through the season. But I'm sure hoping that they have more than 10 this season, because this is a fun show. I always enjoy it. Similarly, Abbott Elementary, which we talked about before, and I'm continuing to watch through that. I'm not caught up yet, but it too is only 10 episodes long this season, after a 22 episode season last season. By the way, when they won a bunch of Emmy. So yeah, sure. Makes a lot of sense to do a shorter season the next season after. It's so weird that they even referenced the fact that it was a shorter season in one of the episodes. It was, and they can get away with it because the show is a documentary style similar to The Office.
Oh, okay.
So someone made an offhanded comment about how, in these shorter seasons, we really can't get to do this, and this. So kind of funny. I like that they got that little dig in. The writers got that dig in, I'm sure. So I finished season 2 of Severance, which I'm very happy about. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That last episode was just unlike anything that they've done before. There was so much. It was so good. They went in so many different places. They answered a lot of questions.
They did.
They opened some more, but I feel like it was very satisfying in terms of feeling like we finally understood most of what was going on in this season. And Josh, now I remember back when you said, there was this episode I watched and I really hated it, and I almost never want to watch Severance again because it was so bad. What episode?
I don't know if I quite said that. So you've watched the season and you can't guess which episode I thought was a complete waste of time?
I think it was one of the outliers. There's one story where they follow Gemma and what she's been through on the inside.
Yeah, it's not that one.
And then there's another one where they follow Ms. whatever her name is.
Right, the neighbor lady.
The mean woman who worked inside and also was Mark's neighbor.
Yes, it's that one. That I hated that episode.
But that episode sets up why she does some of the things that she does in the later episodes.
Meh.
I had no problem with it. I had no problem with it whatsoever. And I don't mind these occasional divergent off the main storyline episodes, which so many shows of this ilk, these artsy shows, tend to do. So it didn't bother me. I thought I actually found it interesting, and provided some insight to her. It helped you understand why she is kind of the way she is.
But didn't you really only get that in like the last 5 minutes of that episode?
Okay, so it could have been shorter.
Right.
I feel like most of the Severance episodes could be shorter, but that's a whole different issue.
Yeah. If I decide I'm going to rewatch season 2 before season 3 comes out, I will skip that episode, or at least all but the last 5 minutes of that episode.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Now, a podcast that I started listening to, even though I had subscribed to it long ago and never listened yet, is the Severance podcast. Do you listen to this?
I did, and I started to get tired of it also.
Okay, so they have gone in all kinds of directions over the last couple months.
Yeah, and I haven't listened to any of those because I was like,
okay,
I don't need this. Like the only thing I cared about from this podcast was deep dive into the episode.
Exactly. So the first 20 episodes, I imagine, if I'm counting properly, is basically Adam Scott, the main guy who plays Mark, and Ben Stiller, the very actively involved executive producer of the show, discussing the ins and outs of the episode with various guests from the show. And I hadn't listened to any of this yet. And I, after watching the last episode, said I should listen to their rundown of the last episode. And I'm thoroughly glad I did. I really enjoyed it. I will probably now go back and listen to the others, but there's just one problem. I'm still 4 weeks behind in podcast. So the idea of adding extra listens to my queue right now is not happening. But I would like to go back and listen because I think they have a really good rapport. You can tell that they're legit friends from working together. And I don't have a whole lot of experience knowing or being exposed to Ben Stiller as a producer, and he's damn good.
He is.
So,
and my problem with that podcast is with a show like that, like you said, Ben Stiller and Mark, whatever his name is,
Adam Scott.
Those two guys, they do really well on that show, but there's always guests. And with any show that has guests regularly, it all comes down to the guest.
Yep.
And so many of the guests that they had in season 2, I was like, I don't want to listen to this. You're not good on podcast. There were some of them, like there was one that had an actor from the show, and it was very clear that she had never been on a podcast in her life, and it was a miserable episode to listen to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. Yeah. So in the one for the season finale, they have the guy who plays the big security brute, and they have the woman who plays Helly. So they were really good guests.
Yeah.
They were, and the guy, I can't remember his name, the guy who plays the heavier set dude, who is an Indian and outie.
Yes.
And I can't remember his name, but they like,
I don't remember either.
That combination of guests was fantastic. So yeah, I will go back and listen to more, and hopefully I can tolerate the ones where people don't know how to podcast, because that does drive me crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And then finally, I haven't watched any movies, but I think we kind of teased that last night I watched the election results come in with the 3-up feature or multi-view or whatever they call it on YouTube TV, where I was able to select the combination of channels that I wanted. Now, you can't select specific channels, but they have more options for grouping channels together, and you can pick which combination you want to watch. They just happen to have the combination of Fox, CNN, and NBC, MSNBC, so you could just kind of watch the 3 major news networks call all the results and switch between them as it was happening. And I loved that. I loved that experience. And I enjoyed watching. I'm glad I stayed up to watch it all.
All right.
All right. That's it for me. How about you, Josh? You didn't have any major elections, I don't think, that impacted anything significant for you.
No, we did not. We did not at all. No, not even close. So I also was very busy this weekend and over the last week. So I haven't even played or watched all that much. So on the gaming front, my regular weekend activity of playing with a group of guys, we played some more of Helldivers 2. It's always fun. When I did have a little bit of time to play stuff on my own, I'm still working through Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I'm getting close to the end in that game. I think I'm on chapter 8 of 10. So definitely getting close to the end there and still like that. Didn't watch any movies. In terms of TV, I don't remember. Did I talk about High Potential last week? Maybe I didn't. We really like the show. So High Potential, I don't know what TV network it's on. We watch it on Hulu. It's a police procedural, essentially.
So it's probably CBS.
It probably is CBS, actually. Right, which doesn't make any sense at all.
Any sense at all.
Yeah. Should be ABC if it's on Hulu, but it's probably not. And so it's essentially a police procedural, but instead of it just being the cops, the main character is a woman who, this is the title factors into this. She is, incredibly high IQ, genius level IQ. And they call those people high potential something. I don't know. And so she doesn't have the greatest social skills and stuff, but she's incredibly smart, able to figure things out really quickly, catches things that the cops miss. But she doesn't behave like a cop. And so there's a lot of funny stuff, but also just good, fun police procedural type stuff going on. Is this the greatest show ever? Is it better than CSI or Law and Order? No, probably not. But it's fun, and we're enjoying that a lot. The other thing that I thought worth bringing up here, Richard, I think for you, when you subscribe to services like Hulu and HBO Max and all of that stuff, you always pay the extra to not have to watch ads at all, right?
Correct.
With maybe the exception of Prime.
Of
right?
Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm not paying the extra $3 fee.
Yeah.
Right.
We are not paying extra for Hulu. We've just got the basic Hulu with ads. And at times I'm like, man, this is annoying watching these ads. But also, this is not a show where I have to be fully mentally invested. And the ads give me a break to look at my phone and to catch up on things on my phone that maybe I'm already feeling a little bit stressed out about, being behind on email and news feeds to prep for the show and all of that sort of stuff that I can do in the 90-second commercial breaks that happen throughout these episodes. And I feel like a dirtbag for even saying that I like that experience, because it feels like I'm just feeding into our attention deficit culture that we've been building, that now we can't even watch a 40-minute show anymore without feeling the need to pick up our phone. But it sure is convenient, and I'm kind of liking it.
Yeah.
Richard's like, I don't want to tell you that you're a terrible person, but you're a terrible person.
No, it's not. What's funny is just this last week, one of the episodes of Ghosts that we watched was 19 minutes long.
Wow.
19 minutes for a half-hour slot. That's 11 minutes of commercials.
Right.
More than a third of commercial time, and then 19 minutes of show. That's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. That is, in fact, CBS. So it turns out that High Potential is on ABC. So I'd have to watch it on Hulu because I won't be able to watch it live on YouTube TV right now.
No, you won't. No, you won't. All right. I might have watched some football, although I definitely didn't get a chance to watch the Lions game. And then for books,
you're not going to bring up the Ohio game. I really appreciate you not doing that. Thank you.
No, I mean, I freaking hate Ohio State, so I wish that Penn State would have won that also. Penn State is such a dumpster fire right now, though. I'm sorry, Richard.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Books. I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I've been rereading iRobot. It is the book club book that we are doing for my work book club. It's so good. It's like, this feels like one of those books that you could just say, I'm going to read this book once a year.
Yeah.
Especially in
maybe you should,
in our modern world of AI now. And to think about the fact that Isaac Asimov wrote this 70 years ago and had so much of this stuff already thought through. It's really impressive. It's a really good book. It's not super long either. The audiobook is under 9 hours. So it's not like you're signing up for Dune or The Stand or something like that with iRobot. So, all right. Well, that is what's going on in my entertainment center. If you would like to get a hold of us, we're all over the place. And all of our contact information, because there's a bunch of it, is over at our website, www.thedigitalmediazone.com, where you can find the show notes for everything that we talked about, including those links to those awesome Black Friday deals that you can get now. Click on those and support the show without spending an extra dime of your own money. If you want to find us on socials, I'm Josh Pollard on Twitter and Blue Sky, and the website is DigiMediaZone on Twitter. Richard is Richard Gunther on Mastodon and at richardgunther.com on Blue Sky. I've seen Richard a little bit more on Blue Sky lately, which has been nice to see you over there, my friend.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, when we do the show live, it's typically Tuesday nights around 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we typically will post about it on social media beforehand to give you some heads up. You can, if you miss it though, you don't have to miss out on the video experience because we normally throw these videos over on our YouTube page also. So head on over there, like and subscribe to the show there, because that's going to do it for episode 694. He's Richard Gunther, and I'm Josh Pollard. Thanks for listening to Entertainment 2.0. Adios.
Goodbye. When you said YouTube connection, all I could think of was Rainbow Connection with the Kermit voice.
Yeah, where did YouTube connection come from?
I don't know.
That made no sense.
I don't know. That was fun, though.
Help me.